Hello YouTubers, especially my subscribers, keep on subscribing. And today we're gonna talk about how to pass the Canadian citizenship in a perfect score. Like the first step is you need to stay and live in Canada for like 3 years. It's a new law that was like implemented June 2000, I think 17. And then after you are eligible about your residence, and you have to file it under the CIC. You can check it up on canada.ca and then search in a tab where you can see the immigration and then apply for citizenship, and you have to pay like 700 Canadian dollars. And then after filing, like after a month, like when you gathered all your absences from Canada, if you're on holiday, you have to write it down until you reach the 3 years or the 1014 days that you have a resident as a permanent resident in Canada. So the first step you're gonna do is after filing is you have to gather all the documents. You have to fill out the application form, the citizenship form, and then the residence permit, something like you have to be eligible for 3 years, right? You have to write it down in the citizenship form, and it has also the other form, which is the resident form, where you have to like write down all the absences, the days, the months your absences. If your absences like 5 months or 6 months rather, and if you're out of the country, then you have to require I think for a police clearance. So after gathering all the documents, the checklist, where you can find it in the canada.ca application for citizenship, then after you file it everything, then you have to submit it in a courier. So in Canada we have like Canada Post, so you have to send it to the CIC. All the addresses and all the checklist will be found in the website, the canada.ca apply for citizenship. So what I'm doing here is to help you pass after like you filing for the Canada citizenship forms and pay the required fees. If you are family, it's a different. If you're single, it's different. So amount. So you have to check it on the website. So first thing in my experience, when I tried to apply at first, that was in October 2017, where they have changes from the laws of immigration, especially the Immigration and the Refugee Act. So what I did is I gathered all my documents, then make sure it's complete, because if it's not really complete, then they're gonna have to return it back to you and your effort is just useless. So what I did after that, processing all the documents that I did, my absences, my residence calculator form, which is the second form aside from the citizenship form, then what I do is to pay, and I paid like 760 plus Canadian. Then I did borrowing money because that time I was really eager to be a Canadian. And then after like submitting all the documents in the courier, then I did all my checklist, I did all my research in canada.ca. So when I tried to fill it up all together, after sending it, it takes like 2 weeks or 1 week. Then I feel comfortable about it. But then I file it in November. But then because I didn't know that I didn't upgrade, I think the Adobe something like the form, so it returned back to me after 2 weeks. So I did all my research, like I have to ask for help, right? So I go to in Reader, where there is a refugee organization, where they try to help all the refugee and the new immigrants which are new to Canada. So I contact them in Reader, and then they try to tell me and helping me about the certain completeness of the form, right? And I have to resend it again after like December of 2017. And then in January, after I send it back again, the form, so they give me the what do you call this, this is the confirmation. You can get the confirmation here. So this is the confirmation where it says that you will get a confirmation that they receive all the documents, yeah, like this. So acknowledge of receipt, application for Canadian citizenship, and we'll review your application and supporting documents and will contact you if additional information is required, and then the ceremony will be followed after you pass the exam. So after this, I got that was January 17th, that's like 1 month after I sent the documents. So here it is, the confirmation letter from the CIC, wherein they will give you a glimpse of what will be the events, kung ano ang mangyayari kung natanggap niyo na yung letter ng CIC, which talks about you have to be prepared for the exam, the written test. So it is the question, testing, the knowledge requirement are based on the information provided in the Discover Canada study guide. So if you're receiving this email, the study guide is available on the IRCC website. So to pass the mark of citizenship, you have to have 75%. I was 15 out of 20. In my case, I perfect it. I made that like 20/20 for like 10 minutes when I did the test. So what you're gonna do is to study the book which they given you, which is the Discovered Canada Study Guide. Okay, I will just the sun is here, so it's not really blurry. Let me see the study guide book. I'm gonna like look at it. The study guide book. The study guide book talks about this one. It talk about like the contents. I just made a photocopy of it, like, because the book I give it to someone else. So the study guide is applying for citizenship. You have to know how to apply for citizenship, what are the legitimate on the residence calculator, where you're gonna stay in Canada, the rights and responsibilities of a citizenship. You have to study that, who we are, who are the Canadians, on all the people who try to help free Canada for 151 years. That Canada history, the modern Canada, how Canadians govern themselves, federal election, the justice system, the Canadian symbols, the Canada economy, the Canada's region, the Atlantic provinces, the Central Canada, the Prairie provinces, the West Coast, and the Northern Territories, and the study question. And there's also a new information which is included there, the authorities and the memorable quotes. And then you need to emphasize and memorize and to know the song, like the Canadian anthem, of course, because it's really important, because it might get out of the test. And also you have to for me, you have also to study practice test. Like in the online, you can search different kinds of apps, like the Canada Citizenship apps. But for me, it's effective. I study, like I joined Canada like citizenship blogs in Facebook. So yeah, so you can like ask somebody who already take the test, because there might be lots of apps that I use, but I use like the Canada Citizenship apps, like with the Canada flag on it, and I test all my knowledge there. And then for a few days I just practice those questions. And this one is the look of the Canada book, where you can download online. Yes, online in Canada.ca. Books. So the study guide. So this is look like study guide here. Here it is, the study guide. So yeah, you have to study this. Discovered Canada. This is the only one like your method to pass the test. It's Canada guide. Yeah. And then after that, take the test. It will take like 20 minutes. When you arrive, and they will give you the after like 4 months, right? So in my case, it was, I applied like December, and then I got the confirmation letter on January 17, and then they will tell me like the exam when and where, depends where you stay or the location. So in my case, I was located in Red Deer, so I have to get an exam in Calgary. So January, February, March, April, so May. After 4 months from January, then I get my written exam schedule. So this is looks like this letter. Oh. Uh, so this is the exam date, appointment. So the exam, this one looked like the exam test. The exam test is it was in April, so they will give you the exam like 1 month before. So the exam test, looks like this here. So the schedule of appointment is there. I did it, but look here, exam test. So here's the exam test. So it says there to write in citizen test or verification of identity documents. You have to appear in May 28.